All right, so there's my contact information. I don't have quite as much time to talk as James did, but no, you are good. We knew that was going to happen that way. So please feel free to contact me. I'll have my information on the very last slide that you can also call me. I'm the state point of contact for foster care. So just if you have any questions regarding foster care, please feel free to contact me. Why foster care? What about foster care is different than homeless kids? Well, children in foster care are some of the country's most educationally disadvantaged. Studies show students in foster care experience school suspensions and expulsions at higher rates, lower standardized test scores in reading and math, high levels of grade retention and dropout, and far lower high school and college graduation rates. So President Obama decided these kids are a concern for us, and we want to do something about that. So that's why ESSA really takes and grasps the foster care population and tries to help them out. So what ESSA does that is different from before, the McKinney-Vento person would also kind of handle foster care at the state level. And for our purposes at the Department of Education, DePauli Janney is our McKinney-Vento person. And when ESSA came out, they said there has to be a separate person, separate and apart from McKinney-Vento to deal with foster care. And so that's what I do. I'm the state point of contact at the Department of Education for foster care issues. Now, what it does is the local education agency, meaning charter schools, public schools, things like that, they don't have to have a separate person as a point of contact. They just have to have a point of contact. So the same person that deals with McKinney-Vento could also deal with foster care. James, at Warren, how does that work? It's you too? Yep. So that's a difference. At the state, it has to be separate people. At the local education agency, it can be the same person if you want. It can be a different person. But what we ask is that there is one person for your entire district or your entire school corporation that is the point of contact. And then if you have different people at different buildings that take care of homeless or take care of foster care, then you can decide how that gets there. We just want one person to simplify it. Okay. ESSA removes the status of awaiting foster care. James, in one of his slides, had that as part of the homeless definition. Now it's not. So if you're awaiting a foster care placement and you're with a friend or with a family, you're still considered a foster child and entitled to supportive services under ESSA. The new definition of foster care at this point is 24-hour substitute care for children placed away from their parents or guardians for whom the child welfare agency has placement and care responsibility. This includes children in foster family homes, shelters, relative foster homes, group homes, and residential facilities, regardless of whether the foster care facility is licensed or whether payments are made by the state. So that's the federal definition for foster care. Okay. So the educational agencies have a point of contact. And again, for us, we ask that you just have one point of contact. We have districts that try to say, well, at the elementary school it's this, and at the high school it's this. We just say, no, we want one person, and then you can get it to the right people in the right buildings. We just want to know who to let know there's a foster child in your district, or there's a foster child moving in, or a foster child changing placement, things like that. What I want to encourage you to understand is the Department of Education and the Department of Child Services, the State Child Welfare Agency, are working very closely on the issues of foster care. So we are collaborating very, very closely, and we want your input and your involvement in the processes of determining best interest placements, transportation, and things like that. So as we move forward, understand this isn't something that we're telling you have to do it, doesn't matter what you think. We're trying to say there's a lot to consider here, and we want your input as part of that process. So the best interest educational placement, James mentioned that before. Some things to consider. The best interest for education placement determination is initiated by the Department of Child Services. So their family case manager will be aware that one of their kids in their custody is moving into a foster home in their area. And the foster home might be in your school district, might be in your charter school, and they'll simply let you know that this child's a foster child. And they'll send you a document. The document is called, in most cases, it's called a school notification form. These documents are available on our website, but just to show you, the school notification form should be anytime there's a new placement or anytime there's a change in placement for a child, this form should go out to you from the Department of Child Services notifying you that something's changing and this child is a foster child. And what you'll see is one of the new things from ESSA is that it requires schools to report who are foster children that you served at any point during the year. And it doesn't mean that it's if a child comes in as a foster child and then goes home to his parents or goes home to their parent, it doesn't mean that they're not a foster child. It's that if they came to you as a foster child at any point during the year, at the end of the year when you do your reporting, you're going to mark yes. And that will help us flag information and the Department of Child Welfare to flag information to look at more data for those foster children, okay?
And you know they're a foster child because you got that form.
In the perfect world, that's what happens. The second step to that is make sure you're asking. So
most of the time you won't know, because a lot of times they don't tell you because they don't want to tell you, the kids nor the families. So you'd be lucky to get this form sometimes. Depends on who your point of contact is to get the forms. We're such a large school, we don't know half the time who our foster kids are.
Okay.
So when they enroll, if you have a questionnaire, they might identify themselves, or a caseworker sometimes will come in to enroll. So when people enroll, they should be filling out what we call a foster care form, because there's three different type of entities that can withdraw or enroll the kid. One could be a family member, which is called relative care. Two could be a caseworker, and three could be a guardian ad litem. So any of those three entities can come in and talk to you all about the kids.
And all three are considered foster care?
All three are considered people who are looking after the care of the foster care kids, yeah.
And they have the ability to make decisions on the child's behalf. So the point of contact for DCS, as I said, usually will be the family case manager, but every region has an educational liaison for the Department of Child Services. And so if you're not hearing the term or person educational liaison, I want to encourage you to ask about that, because the educational liaison is a more seasoned, educationally focused and has a good history in education, and they're going to make better educational decisions than the family case manager might. Now, the family case manager might be a fantastic person, have wonderful background and so on, but it might be a person fresh out of school and not have the information. So the educational liaisons, in my opinion, are going to be a great source, a great resource for you for continuity of care, for things as far as establishing best interest placement and things like that. So please, if a child's coming to you as a foster child and you're only hearing from the family case manager, ask about the educational liaison and whether they're involved in the process of deciding best interest placement for the child. And again, you're part of that equation too. So don't just let them come to you and say, this is what we chose, this is what we're doing, here you go. If you agree with that, that's okay. But know that you don't have to just take it. You can be part of the process to engage in deciding how the best interest is determined. The Department of Child Services, their family case manager will probably start by filling out what's called a point of contact checklist. And it's a 2 or 3 page form that it kind of systematizes the process of considering different factors for a child. And that form is available on the DOE website. And so I want you to just go there. DCS will probably send that to you, but you can go and access that from our DOE website. Now, the completed point of contact checklist will probably go from the family case manager to the educational liaison. They should both sign off on that, and then it should come to the school district. And that's at the point where you say, okay, I knew the kid was coming. Okay, here's good information. It makes sense what they're deciding. We're in full agreement. We're going to sign this, and that's the plan. Or you can say, wait a second, this is an hour bus ride for this kid, and I don't think that's in their best interest. So I want to talk about this some more. And please raise those questions and so on, and engage in dialogue about that. because there's other points that you don't know. Maybe it's an hour bus ride, but maybe this is going to be a short-term placement for 2 weeks until the dad comes home from the military. And once he gets back, there's going to be more stability. The family will be able to be together. And so there's no use uprooting a child from an educational placement for 2 weeks. Yes, it's an hour, but an hour is doable for 2 weeks. And when the kid gets back, then he'll be in this area again. Dad will be able to take care of things. So DCS will bring to the table some factors that you might not be considering or might not know about. But please engage in that process. The next thing that they'll do is, once they decide that the best interest placement is in your school, is decide, okay, where did they come from? Where was the school of origin? And do we have to arrange transportation? And if transportation is necessary, the Department of Child Services has a transportation form, which is also available on our website. And that transportation form will decide kind of who's involved in the decision-making process, where is the child living, what are the arrangements for, and how long is this kind of going to be as far as we can tell right now. And so, again, that's a collaborative process. It's not done to you, it's done with you. And what James said earlier is, keep in mind, the decisions we're making are based on the best interest for the kid. What is best for the kid? Where is the best place for the child to be? It may be an inconvenience financially and time-wise for us, but if it's in the best interest of the kid, that's what ESSA always goes back to. What's in the kid's best interest. Transportation to be provided for as long as the child is in foster care, and it is in the child's best interest to attend the school. So if the child all of a sudden is getting in fights all the time at your school, it might be time for to convene a conference with the Department of Child Services and say, look, it was nice on paper, but it's not working out so well. They're not getting here on a regular basis. They're always fighting. They're expelled, things like that. Let's consider whether this is still the best interest of the child. So because it was determined best interest at one time doesn't mean it always stays that way. Okay? Like McKinney-Vento, you don't have to have all the documentation to get kids in for foster care. You get them in immediately, and then you work behind the scenes to get all the documents. Data for foster kids, at the end of the school year, there's a one-time report, and you'll list on there any child that was a foster child during that point of the year. If they were in your district and you served them, that's a yes. If they weren't a foster child and you served them, they're a no. And then we'll use the information, and the Department of Child Welfare will use the information to get further data on those kids. Okay, any questions?